Are we rolling?
Why do we always start like that?
Because
you heard the beep.
It does the beep, and I'm not sure. Okay.
If it looks like this, then we're recording.
Alright, guys, I'm Cool Guy. This is
Synthetic.
and we're gonna be learning about the
Ocean.
top 10 things in the ocean. Hopefully, we find things that we see in our nightmares, but at the same time, I don't want to see anything in my nightmares.
No one wants nightmares.
Nah. Alright, let's get on the way of this video. Oh god. Sorry for the glitchy start, it's just how it starts.
Welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Chade Arena. What's going on in the ocean?
Look at that
it's
afro.
Deep, dark, and wet, and there's a whole bunch of weird crap in there that freaks people out. You got sharks, you got colossal squids, you got pollution. There might be some smoking hot mermaids down there ready to risk it all to be with a land boy. But you would probably drown before you got to second base. With all the mysteries that are going on in the deep blue, it's no...
Just gonna throw it out there. I doubt there's any mermaids.
Yeah, and who would want to have sex with a mermaid? Like, what are you going to do with a mermaid? What's the most you can do? Like,
You'll probably have to cut a hole in it.
Wasabi! Yeah, it's not a pretty sight if you're cutting into a mermaid.
That I'm bringing you today's list of top 10 scary underwater discoveries. Make sure you stick around for the whole list because I have some stuff on here that is going to make you never want to go
so
into
far all
the
I found
ocean
out is this guy
again.
likes talking
always,
about
make sure
the
you
ocean
like, comment,
so far.
subscribe, and hit the little notification
wouldn't
bell.
you?
Also,
The ocean's
follow Most
mysterious.
Amazing Top 10 on Instagram and Facebook. It's a great way to get to know myself and the other hosts a little bit better. And without taking any longer, let's get into this list. At number 10, we have an octopus nursery. Eight-legged alien-looking things with suction cups all over their arms and beaks for mouths. Octopus are creepy-looking things, and to top it all off, they can camouflage like a Navy SEAL, and they are super smart.
It's not very
if these are the kind of things that
It really
make
isn't.
your skin
Guess if you're
crawl,
underwater,
then just
it
running
makes
into
a difference.
one
Yeah, it's
of these
hard to see.
guys would probably freak you out. Well, on the underwater expedition at the Davidson Seamount, there was a rather shocking discovery. They had a remote probe that was on the ocean floor around 10,000 feet, and they came across which seemed to be an octopus that was next to not just one, not just two, but a group of 1,000 octopuses in a nursery. They were all there laying their eggs and
That's
using heat
interesting,
from a
actually.
volcanic vent to keep them warm. I would
Damn,
hate
that's
to be the
smart.
guy who accidentally steps into that crack and then gets devoured by thousands of sticky arms. But if you're at 10,000
suck.
feet underwater, you probably are already screwed. At number 9, we have the Siberian lake monster. Of course, if we're doing a list of scary things that live underwater, we have to throw a giant mysterious sea monster on here. What separates the Siberian lake monster from other more popular guys that we have seen like Loch Ness and that kind of stuff is that underwater scans have actually picked this guy up. This thing is deep in Lake Lavington, and some radar has shown that it looks like a 33-foot long creature is living there. Now, this
Just gonna
is
say,
probably
that
just a
picture looked
skeleton,
pretty
but
fake.
this thing is
Yeah,
dead.
it
It means
does.
that there was once a giant man-eating monster in this lake. I thought we were supposed to be...
Okay, is it me or does that sound like Nessie? Like that you know, fucking that
Loch Ness.
yeah, Loch Ness monster. Like that sounds exactly like it. And I'll just alright, we get it. We got the blue up, but that was just for the intro. We're just gonna stick with the white so you can see our beautiful faces.
You can say that, but
We fuck.
so you can see our faces. Alright.
So yeah, so basically you can just see what our expressions are and how we're gonna cope with this video so far. It just the first one just that makes sense. Like the first one, like you would expect an octopus to lay all their eggs near like
Somewhere warm
yeah,
for them to hatch.
but the second
Probably-
one it just didn't.
Do you reckon
seem
like if they're near a warm environment, the eggs just hatch faster?
well, I don't think the cold's gonna help them hatch that fast.
Kind of like an incubation type of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
safe in fresh water. They nicknamed this thing the Devil, so you know he's a good time and loves company. So next time you go up to the cottage and you're swimming in the
Lucifer.
water and you feel safe, remember there might be a giant monster lurking underneath the water, ready to turn you into a side dish. At number 8, we have the Blue Hole. Now, there are several blue holes in the world. There's one in Belize, there's one in the Red Sea, there's a giant one in my heart that was left there from when Reboot ended on a cliffhanger. How are you going to end a show that so many people fell in love with on a cliffhanger? I will never trust
American
again.
Shark.
Well, this one is between Cape Verde and the Caribbean islands.
I mean,
Scientists
I
are
like
really
Robot
confused
Chicken
about
more.
this thing. It's a crack in the bottom of the ocean floor and it's several thousand miles long. What's strange about this is there's no explanation of how this happened. It might have been tectonic plates moving around, but when this happened, the Earth will probably start to repair itself, and there's been no sign of this. My theory is this is where Godzilla goes to sleep at night. I mean, it seems like the most logical answer. It's either that or the gateway to hell. Like, come on, guys, I'm doing real science work here. At number 7, we have the Yonaguni Complex. This was discovered by scuba divers in the 1980s.
Whoa.
I think that's the scariest part about this one. Could you imagine going scuba diving back in the 80s? The technology back then must have been a tube going up to some guy who would blast fresh air down to you using a bicycle pump. I don't even think they had decompression sickness figured out back then. The chances of you coming up the bends was probably super high. Well, if it wasn't for a few divers in Japan who were willing to sacrifice it all to look at some cool stuff, we wouldn't know anything about the Yonaguni Complex. It's still a mystery as to what this thing is. It looks like some temples that might have existed thousands of years ago, but when the Ice Age decided to melt, it would have covered this entire area. This could be why an entire civilization got plunged underwater. Or the temple could have been on a cliff, and then when a massive earthquake hit, it knocked the temple into the water. But like everything in life, there are some haters who say this whole thing is just a natural rock formation. Some people just want to ruin everything. At number 6, we have Anacorra Cista Twista. One of the reasons...
How is that a natural rock formation? You could see the statue very clearly. Obviously there was windows, like not proper windows, but like holes in the walls to make it look like windows of some sort. How is that natural?
I don't know. There's many things that are weird in the ocean. Let's just say that, you know, there are times when there's, as he said in the video, tectonic plates shifting. That could have been something from 100 years ago when they were making stuff with like windows, and it just collapsed into the ocean.
Possibly, but that looks pretty ancient. Probably not 100 years ago.
Well, more than that, like, but that's just an idea to throw out there.
Alright, back into it.
Yeah.
Reasons why the underwater world is such a mystery is because we find things like this in there. Sure, there are beautiful things down there like bright fish and chubby marine mammals, but there's also the unknown.
Okay. Did anyone see what that fish looked like for a sec? That's what happens when you try
Don't do drugs.
No. I was gonna say, when sometimes when you're deep sea diving and you get a bit lonely, you gotta do something to pass the time. Yeah, don't do that in the ocean. The fish already do it. The whales do it. Dolphins do it. Doesn't mean you have to do it. Otherwise we get creatures like that fish right there.
What are you talking about? You talking about having sex with fish?
No, I'm talking about jerking off into the water and then fish swimming into it. It looked like it was covered in sperm, okay? How do you think we got sperm whales?
Unidentified organisms like Anacorra Cista Twista, which should be the name
That's
of
a hell of a
80s hair
name.
metal band. But what is this thing?
That sounds
it's
like a heavy metal
protus.
band.
And what is a protus, you may ask?
What's
Well, it's an
this
organism that doesn't belong to any animal group, fungus, or plant group. What does that mean? I really have no idea, you guys. I think it means
Means they
it could
jerked
be an
off under
alien.
the sea.
Some alien came down to Earth for a swim and then scraped its knee on some coral, and now we have alien creatures running around the ocean, probably waiting for you to pee so it can swim up your pee hole and then work its way into your brain. It's really the only logical answer. At number 5,
There's a fish in the
Bimini
Amazon that does
Road.
that already.
How were the pyramids made? Was it aliens coming down
Wanna
to
go
share their
swimming in the
technology
Amazon?
and secrets with us?
You have to
Or
pee
was
in
it
it
just
first, in
thousands
the river.
upon thousands
Only
of
if you're
slaves
full-
who
if you're fully
sacrificed their
submerged.
lives and their spines to build them? Well, we don't know and we may never know, but the Bimini Road is another one of these mysteries. It's off the coast of the Bahamas, and it looks like it could have been a pathway that was placed perfectly with giant slabs of rock. Similar to the way the pyramids were made, it seems that these large slabs of rock were too large to be moved by man, and also like the pyramids, these giant slabs were also perfectly placed so well. So where does everyone's mind go when something like this happens? Well, magic, or aliens? The logical
Aquaman.
answer is that this is a natural phenomenon of the water moving and hitting the rocks to make these formations.
Stream of fish and
People
they do
think that this was
they
made
do what
using
they want.
advanced technology from aliens and
Never
could have
listen
been
to
the
us.
road to Atlantis. Honestly, I like the Atlantis theory much better. It's more fun. At number 4, we have Colossal Squid. Yeah, this thing is a big no thanks for me. So everyone always talks about how there might be sea monsters out there. But this thing actually exists. There's never been one caught alive, but several have washed onto shores dead. And they are massive. The largest one ever discovered was 45 feet long, and it was dead. So you know there was an even bigger one out there that killed this guy. They don't even have suckers on their tentacles. They have hooks. Let me say that again.
Do
This
colossal
squid
squids
has
kill each
10
other?
Giant.
Oh, if it came to
Like a territorial
yeah, it's
thing?
kind of like sharks. Like normally the bigger sharks always attack smaller sharks if they're
Not necessarily.
not smaller sharks, but like if they were a different type of shark, you'd see one fight the other. Or like if, say, crocodiles do fight.
Yeah, over stupid shit.
Yeah, that could be the same thing with colossal squids, but he's saying like there could be bigger ones out there, but then again, that could just be like a baby one.
No, that one's not a baby one.
I mean, are you sure? They're
Yeah,
like
I'm
they're
sure.
Arms covered
Fuck.
in hooks. This thing is straight out of a horror movie. Scientists aren't even sure what something this big eats. They think it probably feeds on whales or your deepest, darkest fears. I wouldn't be surprised if the colossal squid works part-time as a
Making
gatekeeper
money
for
off of
hell.
us with
It makes
these
me think
ads.
that the old Greek stories about the Kraken might have been real. At number
It's like the
3,
third one
we
already.
have underwater circles. Giant formations of circles that are formed underwater.
That's
and
pretty sick,
nobody
actually.
knows how they got there. These mysteries were discovered off the coast of
Imagine
North
just
Carolina,
going to
Florida,
touch it, and
Belize.
next thing a
Now,
big
what
mouth
are they?
just like
many
teeth
things on this
come
list,
up and just
myself and the entire scientific community have no
Like a
idea.
Kind of
Genius
like the
fly
mouth
trap.
of
Here are some
a
theories.
starfish.
Maybe they were formed
Yeah.
naturally by either two
Maybe there's a
things,
massive
water
starfish down
currents or
there.
some sort of
Maybe he was
animal
wiping his
mating
ass.
ritual. Another idea is that these things were made by ancient civilizations before the Ice Age. All these things would have been above ground and might have been art left over by some old-timey tribes. And the third theory is that they look kind of like a bullseye, so it might be some sort of nuclear missile target, and if you hit it hard enough, the explosion will cause some sort of major natural disaster, like an earthquake or tsunami, or if we're lucky, both. At number 2, we have Megalodon. If you have a fear
believe
of sharks, you're
Megalodon.
gonna love this one.
Yeah, maybe, bro.
Megalodon was a prehistoric shark that was even bigger than the giant hook tentacle beast that was earlier on this list. If you've already
Massive.
forgotten about the colossal squid, it clocked in at around 45 feet long, where Megalodon was closer to 60 feet long. It was a 60-foot shark that could probably rip a blue whale in half in one bite. Well, maybe not that, but it was still a gargantuan creature with teeth the size of Brock Lesnar's fists. This thing wouldn't even chew you. It would just swallow
That's
you
your
whole
humor.
and then fart your skeleton out into the
His
dark
fists aren't
current
that
of
big.
ocean. At number 1 on our list, we
They're like
have
average
giant
sized fists.
eyeball. A mysterious giant eyeball washed onto the shore of a Florida beach back in October of 2012. I don't know any
Jeez.
other kind of giant eyeball other than a mysterious one. There's no super common regular giant eyeball just lying around. But this is also Florida. This is the state where people smoke crack at weddings and kiss alligators on the lips. So maybe it's a little more common over there. Well, this giant eyeball was found by Gino Cavacci, and he didn't know what the hell to
An
make
American
of it, so he
talking
took
shit
it
about
home and
another
then
state
stuck
in
it his
America.
freezer. Then he called the cops.
New
and the
South
cops
Wales is
came in
gay.
and told him, we don't do giant eyeballs on the beach. You have to call the
Sorry, they're
wildlife
going through a
people."
fire
And they
right
called
now. I'll
the
take that
wildlife
back.
people,
I
and they
feel
were like,
bad
what
for
the
him.
hell is that? And he was like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
they have
I
to
brought
live
it
in
to you
New
guys
South
to try and
Wales.
figure out what it is. And then some
No, it's
people
just
are
a
like,
fire.
maybe it's a sea monster. And other people are like, no, it's probably from a
And
marlin.
they have to live
And
in
I
New
think
South
the end,
Wales.
no one really knew what the hell it was. But just so you know, there's giant eyeballs out there just laying around the beach sometime. Well, everyone, that's our list. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the...
Yeah, that he just tells you to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, we hired that Afro mofo to just give us stuff. Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
You didn't even have
Fuck!
to. You didn't even have to say that sentence.
I don't know, I was trying to like say something before like the video ended, but obviously it's not working out. Just yeah. So if you want to look for stuff in the ocean, like become a marine biologist, and then you can like throw
Just
into
go for a
these
scuba
type of
dive
things.
and have a good time.
Yeah, like I'd be excited to find out there's megalodons in the ocean. Like if I was gonna die of that, I'd want it to be on my gravestone. Got eaten by a massive ass shark. instead of die peacefully in your sleep.
Well, that's the end for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe get 1 or 2 views on this video, you know.
Yeah. Bye guys.
Alright, CoolCasts out.
Bitches.